Welcome back to a brand new adventure of sailing Oka Solo. It's been pretty much like freezing temperature like for the last few days, or like it gets to like a few degrees above zero in the day, but at night it's definitely freezing. Last time on Oka, we transit Johnstone Strait once again. This time, not only we have a bit of a spicy sail up to Port Hardy, things go a little sideways and get a little scary, and this is a pretty difficult episode for me to edit, so I'll let the image speak for themselves. I'm gonna have to reef if it keeps going like that. It's gonna be a pain to reef. We're just motoring a hybrid with the generator to get an extra kick because there's a fair amount of swell. We're really not going fast. We're doing between 3.5 knots or so, and like we're pushing we're drawing 40 amps, so it's a fair amount of power, which normally would be almost like 4.5 knots kind of. we're headed to Miles Inlet, and I'm hoping that the swell's not going to be too bad at the entrance. We're just about 5 miles away, so I'm hoping that it's not too lumpy and that we can have a good control coming in and out, because we'll be coming out before sunlight tomorrow. And that's kind of why I chose Miles Inlet and not Allison Harbors, because there's less obstacles coming out. Allison Harbor is a really long entrance and there's a lot of rocks. I woke up a few hours before sunrise to get an early start to the day to find out that it was a complete blizzard, complete whiteout. There's no way I could see in the darkness. I don't have radar at this point, and I was relying on GPS, but unless you have a certain amount of speed, the GPS is not accurate as to which way you're heading, and I kept finding the edge of the cliff and then turning and finding the other cliff, because as you saw on my way in, it's a super narrow, long inlet. So that wasn't the best scenario. It was pretty hard to get out of there, but and once I got out in the open, I was able to sail for a while. And then once I got across Cape Caution, the wind kind of went the complete opposite and was right on the nose, around 20-25 knots. So it was not ideal. So I made my way into Millbrook Cove.
Chrissy Winter.
Welcome to sailing in Canada. Winter's loving it. Oh, it's so slippery. We're just anchored in Millbrook. I can't even speak. We just anchored in Millbrook Cove. It's just a little bit north of Cape Caution. So when I crossed Cape Caution, the wind was very favorable, and then when I got to Egg Island, just a couple miles past the Cape, it kind of went 180, and was completely opposite to what I'd like it to be. Just gotta get a shot of the boat. It's gorgeous like that. So we're anchored in Millbrook. Why can I not say that? Millbrook. We're anchored in Oh my god. We are anchored in Millbrook Cove. We arrived just before sundown last night, and I was so surprised to see a boat come and anchor in here. It was a commercial fishing boat. But they left before sunrise, so they're probably on their way somewhere. But we're just headed to shore to cut some firewood. I got my axe and my trusty saw. And then we're gonna try to find maybe a dead standing tree that I could easily cut down, or something that's already on the ground that's not too wet. We'll check out, there's a bit of a beach over there where I can see some trees or driftwood. So we'll see if there's anything interesting, because I only have about a day and a half left of firewood. So I definitely gotta hustle, because it's gonna be below zero for the next week. About 6 feet of water, not too bad. There's some kind of shack here, actually. There's a bit of a landing, so like that's kind of why I'm going towards the shack. I see a lot of alders, which tend to die standing up. So that's also a possibility I could find something like that. Most people don't like burning alder for firewood, but I don't mind it because it burns easy. Oh wow, there's a boat in the shed over there. I was wondering if it was a cabin or something. I'm just gonna stop right here for a moment and warn you guys that the next few minutes might be quite a trigger for some people, so some people might want to skip the next part, because in the next few seconds my dog's gonna get hurt, and it's entirely my fault, and it was difficult for me to edit and watch this video, and I debated about even publishing this video, so here it goes. Butcher! Butcher, come here! Come here! Stop, stop, stop. Butcher? Don't move, it's okay. It's pretty clear that my dog is hurt and she's in a lot of pain. We're 60 miles away from Port Hardy, the closest vet clinic, and it's basically upwind all the way, and there's a lot of current, and it's freezing cold. It's 10 below 0 Celsius, so it's really not great out there. And I'm afraid that my dog might have some broken bones.
Okay. Are you okay? Let's go. Let's go walk. Can you walk? Good girl. Good girl. Are you okay? Come here. Come here.
I try to feel out her articulation on her shoulder and her leg where she got hit. It was on the right side. You can see that I'm handling her leg, and she's not yelping or like reacting when I touch, and I can't feel anything loose or out of place that suggests anything broken or dislocated. So so far so good. Maybe she's just hurt really bad, but we'll have to see. It's gonna take some time to get out of here, so it's gonna take multiple days before I can get her to a vet's. So we'll have some time to figure out what's going on.
Stay right here. Not too bad. So half a dinghy, which is about, I think, a couple weeks if I'm careful. So I just gotta toss all that on deck, and then I get it through the forehatch into the equivalent of a V-berth, which my boat doesn't have. She hasn't moved since I put her there about 4 hours ago now. I'm pretty worried. I'm gonna go into Duncanby first thing in the morning tomorrow. It's 14 miles away. I'm just gonna motor with everything I've got to try to get there fast enough to... Because if it's not better by tomorrow, I think I'm gonna have to catch a plane and go into Port Hardy to go to the vet. I really hope it's not that bad, but fuck. I guess I'm an icebreaker today. I woke up in the middle of the night. I couldn't figure out what this noise was because I was breaking alongside the hull. So we're just about to raise anchor and try to get to Duncanby as fast as possible, because I'm hoping to be able to get a plane in the next couple days and take my dog to the vet.
It's pretty cold on the way to Duncanby, which is 15 miles north of where I was in Smith Sound. Duncanby is located in Rivers Inlet. And the reason why I'm headed there instead of going towards the bigger town of Port Hardy is because I know the caretaker and people that work there, and I know that they're doing some renovation at the moment there. And they have a plane coming in and out every other day. So I figured I'd take a chance and go to visit them and see if they have any way to get me out of there. At this point, Winter had been tucked into her kennel for most of the day because I wanted her to stay safe while I was driving the boat, and she basically had not really moved much since the incident, and I arrived in Duncanby just about 24 hours after it happened, and she hadn't moved at all. She hadn't used the washroom at all. I tried to take her on deck. I carried her all the way out, and she would just stand there looking at me all weird. It turned out that there was a plane coming that day, just a couple hours after I arrived, so I right away called the vet. But then I figured I should probably take a step back and check on Winter once more, because she's been in the kennel all day and she hasn't moved. So I went back to the boat and took Winter out of the kennel, and I just put her on the dock to see what she would do, if she would stand or walk or whatever. And she just started trotting into the snow, just playfully happy to be walking around and use the washroom. So I kind of called off the situation. She looked a million times better than she did a few hours earlier. my friend's a caretaker at a lodge. Like, it's not a marina at all. You're not allowed to tie up there. But I'm special. But anyways, I was so worried that the bearing on my roller furler was messed up, to the point where I ended up writing to Harkins to try to get a copy of the manual, because I couldn't find one online anywhere, only the brand new ones. Because I figure it's like probably like 20 years old or something. I don't know how old it is. But yeah, like today it's about 2 degrees right now, and even yesterday I tried with boiling water to thaw out the drum, thinking that it might be the bearing itself that got frozen. But I think it was the sail that, I guess last time I was sailing, it was snowing pretty good, and when I furled the sail, it was caked with snow, and I guess they froze solid. Because I was trying pretty hard to open the sail, and like it was not budging at all. But for a couple of days there, it was minus 10 degrees centigrade, so it was pretty cold out. And I'm glad it's warming up, and in a few days it should be raining and melt out the rest of the snow. There's still a bunch of ice on the solar panels, so I haven't been able to get any solar power for quite a few days. But at least at the dock, I was lucky to have power. But yeah, I was so worried about the bearing. I'm so glad that it was just frozen, and I'm glad I waited and didn't start fucking with things, because I would have had to unroll the sail by hand, and then I would have had to roll it back up by hand, which would have been a pain in the ass. But yeah, that's the best case scenario. No repairs needed, just patience in the warmer weather. I mean, I can't be the only person that's ever dealt with that. Like, I've never heard of the roller furler freezing, though. That was kind of crazy to me. Like, that's why I thought it was probably broken, because I've sailed in the snow before and I've never had it freeze. But that was interesting, anyways. Do a spin around it and try to break the ice as much as possible around us. It's kind of hilarious. You can see the track that I made it in all the way, but it's kind of hilarious, the ice all over the bay. It's a mooring met for a barge. I don't think they're gonna come in tonight. It's super calm. They only really use it when it's rough. But then I just did a big circle a couple of times, just a couple donuts to break the ice as much as possible, so that I have a little patch. You can kind of see my track. We'll see tomorrow what the wind is like, if we're gonna keep motoring, or if we're gonna stay put and maybe cut some wood or something. Doesn't look like there's much. There might be on that snowy beach over there, but I don't know. It doesn't look great. So yeah, plans completely changed. I was just gonna hang around, maybe go a few miles today and wait for the wind tomorrow, because it's gonna be favorable tomorrow. But now the forecast has changed. It went from 25 to 35 knots, and now it's calling for 40 to 50 knots and gusting into the storm force, and that's not what I bargained for. So I think we're just gonna I have just about 25 liters of gas left. We're 40 miles away from my final destination and my like home dock where my employer is, because my job comes with mortgage. It's a little snowy, Winter. What do you think, Winter? You love the snow. I ended up landing this awesome caretaking gig. So I have this dock and these two cabins all to myself. So hot showers and laundry. That's something unheard of in the timeline of sailing Oka Solo. So I'm gonna enjoy this winter and have a safe dock to have my boat at.